Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another meeting for EWBMQ. This is our first meeting for 2022 with our new executive team. Welcome, everyone. Before we get started, I'd like to do an acknowledgement of country. So we meet on the land of the Aboriginal people from across Sydney. We acknowledge and pay respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. And thank them for the deep and continuing stewardship of the land. My cat is behind my keyboard, and he is currently... Maggie, don't. Okay, sorry, my cat is like behind the laptop and he's having a good time and he's trying to get pets. Okay, so yes, and thank them for their deep and continuing connection and stewardship of the land, air, and water. We pay respects to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Island people here with us today. So just an agenda of what we're going to go through. We're going to do welcome, acknowledgement of country. We've done that. We're going to go through introductions in terms of who's new in the executive team. We're going to go through an overview of the operations. So more generally, what the roles and responsibilities are within the executive team. Then more, basic stuff like tools and platforms, as well as any kinds of services that we often use just day to day. Then I'll go through an overview of partnerships. So that's talking about who do we contact normally when we do different kinds of events. And who do we contact when there are certain situations in which we need to contact someone. And then eventually at the very end of this meeting, we're going to go through a semester one planning session. So that's, us going through the task database, allocating tasks, and then, sort of sorting out which kinds of events we want to start doing for the upcoming semester. Please note that this meeting is recorded. It will eventually be made public on the EWBMQ website. So if you're not comfortable sharing your video or talking, you can always use the chat. Okay, so the incoming executive team for 2022. So we've got me, co-president, together with Seidel. Seidel isn't here today, but he apologizes and will eventually be in the next meetings. We've got Nabia, who's here today, our current treasurer. And then we've got Krishna, our current secretary. Other people here today is Joseph, former president of EWBMQ from the 2021, 2020 and 2019 executive teams. So welcome everyone. And we hope that 2022 is going to be slightly better and hopefully more in person. So that's going to be good to see. Incoming governance structure. So the governance structure has changed a little bit. Last year we had one president, and then we had a secretary, treasurer, vice president of operations, and vice president of partnerships. And this year we've simplified it quite a bit, as we briefly touched on in the AGM last year. So the changes in this case is that we've now got two co-presidents, which makes it a lot easier in terms of managing the workload. And it also means that we've basically merged in the VP of partnerships and VP of operations into those co-presidents roles. So that means our responsibilities are much more aligned. This also means that we've got a much larger general committee that we will want to try and basically expand over the following year, because last year we actually did have some trouble essentially finding nominees for our executive team because our general committee was quite small, as well as the concerns around a fairly old general committee who eventually graduated and was no longer part of the uni. And as part of our affiliation agreement with Macquarie University, we have to make sure that the executives within our society are actual university students at Macquarie. So for the next year, we're probably going to be trying to target more young engineers or anyone who's interested to help essentially join the general committee to help facilitate events and the like. And that's going to be very cool in terms of the sustainability of the overall student group. Okay, so in terms of the roles and responsibilities, one of the main roles is in this case co-presidents. So as co-presidents, as per our constitution under section 6.2, if you want a very specific reference to it, is first and foremost, the co-presidents will be residing over meetings like these ones, as well as just more casual meetings. Normally the co-presidents will basically facilitate that. They'll also have oversight in terms of leadership and the general direction, so more high-level directions. Of course, we'd encourage collaboration and input from all of our members. And then also interviewing and nominating members with directorial powers within the general committee. So in the general committee, we'll have as you probably saw here, we'll have a marketing director, events coordinator, and school outreach director. So those are directorial power general committee positions. And those ones would usually be interviewed and then not necessarily hired. There's no money involved, but in this case, chosen. So as co-presidents, we would be basically approving or disapproving those kinds of directorial power general committee members. And then, of course, there would be more general committee members who would then be hired by those general committee directors. This just basically means that we make sure that everyone is aligned with the values and the vision of EWBMQ. And then other things more generally, so liaising with partners outside of the exec team and general committee. So that's, liaising with the university and EWB, the organization. So EWB Engineers Australia, or Engineers Without Borders Australia, is our parent organization. So we're officially affiliated with those guys. And we have a couple of meetings basically throughout the year, like every month or so, specifically us co-presidents, which we might have to attend, as well as if you're part of the marketing teams and the like, you'll also more than likely attend sort of a monthly meeting in terms of marketing or just a general catch up with other volunteers within EWB organization. Sorry, my cat is trying to get out of my room. Give me a sec. What you doing, boy? Thank you. Okay. Other stuff. Partnership opportunities. So more basic things like if there's a new partnership with a student group overseas or here in Australia or with another university, co-presidents will be ideally first point of contact in terms of reaching out to them and recommending them. Yeah. Other stuff, so secretary, this one has been sort of expanded a little bit. It's kind of merged in some of the responsibilities of VP of operations from last year. So in this case, that's keeping records and minutes of any meetings like this one. Don't worry about this meeting. We'll probably have like extra elaboration on that, but confirming members for memberships. So in this case, a lot of that is technically automated, which makes it a lot easier. But then you've also got things like just generally keeping a register of the current members and then arranging meetings, general meetings, and then sort of giving notice in terms of when there's a meeting coming up. And then, of course, you've got things like engaging people within the executive team and general committee to keep them productive. So that's more or less if there's certain tasks that haven't been completed, you can follow up with people within the executive team to sort of just say like, hey, how's it going? Do you need to make sure that you need some help with a certain task? Or I see that you're a bit behind on a certain task. Please do it. That sort of stuff, basically. And then more importantly is creating plans or essentially helping with the delegation of tasks during planning meetings like this one. So that's basically allocating tasks to the executive team and general committee. Now, of course, all of this sort of stuff is just a guide. It's not necessarily like something you have to follow specifically. In general, we have a fairly flat hierarchy and we generally just collaborate on all of this sort of stuff and help out where we can because all of our timetables will fluctuate throughout the year. And, as university students, you might have some times where you just can't pick up tasks because you've got other responsibilities and the like. Treasurer, okay, so this one's pretty small, but hopefully in the next year, this role will become more important, but that's more importantly, maintaining the custody of any financial books and records, and then also making any required payments and then maintaining sort of a regular financial ledger. So that would all happen on Notion. And I should also note that all of these executive positions have an annual report that you will have to submit at the end of each year. Okay, so tools, services, and platforms. So for internal operations, we use quite a bunch of stuff to keep things going. The main tool that you should know of is Notion. So this is where we record all our meeting notes, store any links to resources, keep track of tasks, host a calendar of events, track our financial standing, store just any sort of information that we think is going to be useful to keep track of for anyone else in the future who might need to refer to it. So if you learn something interesting or you face a challenge and you think it's very valuable to write that down, then Notion is normally the first place you want to write that down. It should also be noted that we've got something called the Ops Wiki. This is basically just a massive directory of different kinds of articles around the running of the society. So things around financials. I think the Ops Wiki for finances is actually complete. So there's a whole bunch of different articles in there in terms of how you would manage different kind of finances, and how, as a treasurer specifically, you might need to sort of record receipts and the like, and how you might submit an annual report, as well as any sort of links. So it's best to keep those up to date. Hubspot, this is where we host a record or a register of all of our members. So that's actually automatically collected through the website, through a Hubspot form. We also use that to handle comms. So that's just general communications. So this is sort of like a shared inbox. This means that you'll have your own account, but the inbox itself will be shared between all of us. So in particular, this actually records emails sent to macquarie@ewb.org.au, which is linked on the website. And that's the first point of contact if people have inquiries. And then, of course, it also pulls in messages from the Facebook page. So that means all of those messages from the Facebook page and emails to that sort of shared secretary email, they will all be combined on HubSpot. And that basically means that we can assign certain messages to certain individuals. And it also means that we can essentially keep track of whether or not conversation is still ongoing, or whether a conversation is passed and handled with, essentially. It also lets you sort of like add different kinds of comments and the like. I'll give you guys a look in a couple of minutes when I finish this list. Other things that it does, it creates forms. So if you need to collect information or details for a certain event, normally you will create a form on HubSpot first, and then eventually you'll go into the website and create a specific page to host that form. Other things is creating emails. So creating emails in this case, uses that membership register we've got on HubSpot, and it lets us send sort of targeted sends. We've got like a lot of different kinds of data points on certain individuals or members, which means that we can sort of send, say, emails to a certain cohort as part of our membership cohort. So let's say, for example, we might have an event that's specific to civil engineers, then we can sort of create a list or a segment in HubSpot, which lets us send an email specifically to civil engineers. Other things is we can keep track of the life cycle. So this is more generally a very marketing sort of thing. So it means once someone signs up, it'll sort of add an activity to that individual's profile. And then if they interact with anything else, like say they sign up for an event, or they contact you on Facebook, or they send an email, all of that will eventually end up on their profile on HubSpot as part of their life cycle. So that means, for example, if a person unsubscribes from a newsletter, you can view the life cycle in terms of what led them to unsubscribe, and that lets you adapt and change. Another thing is Discord. So this is how we communicate. We also use Zoom. I probably should have put that in there, but fairly obvious. So Discord, specifically the ops channel, is where you do internal operations. So that's just reaching out to anyone. I discourage direct messages unless it's like personal information. But generally, doing everything in ops means that everyone can sort of keep track of what people are working on, as well as more generally how we're progressing. And you can sort of chime in if there's like a discussion about a certain thing. Other things, partner operations is where we discuss things with partners, specifically international partners quite a bit. So I think EWB Monash Malaysia currently has a presence there. Uni ops, that's sort of things involving universities. So operations involving, say, other EWB chapters at other universities like UNSW, UTS, etc., as well as any local student groups at Macquarie. So people like the Civil Engineering Society and that sort of stuff. Another thing is we use Bitwarden. So this is essentially a Bitwarden, sort of like a storage thing password manager that allows us to keep track of the details, so usernames, passwords of all of the accounts that we manage. So things like the Facebook page, the Instagram account, Twitter account, and maybe like some email accounts and the like that are shared between different people. This is only accessible by co-presidents, but it's worth mentioning. Another thing, Volaby. So this one's fairly new. This is actually managed by EWB, the parent organization. This actually helps them keep track of who the executives are in our current chapter. And it also eventually allows them to keep track of any activities that we're currently doing as volunteers. This is specifically, I think, mostly aimed at school outreach. So a very specific kind of event, as well as any sort of volunteering initiatives that we're doing together with EWB as an organization specifically. Yeah, it's fairly self-explanatory, but right now it's literally just a directory of, what are you doing at EWB Macquarie University, and that's just letting them know. Okay, other stuff. There's actually a platform called Sage that they're thinking of introducing. There hasn't been that much info on it, but as treasurers, specific to the treasurer, Sage will eventually be introduced to help record your financial reports, because apparently there were like some new laws that were passed which sort of tightened the restrictions around nonprofits, around how they record their financials, specifically with things like uni chapters and the like. So they have like a requirement, a legal requirement to record those kinds of financial statuses, because right now I think there's like barely any information communicated back to EWB in terms of our actual financial standing. So hopefully there'll be more information in the future around that. Another tool, Figma. This is what we use to create marketing material. It's also very useful for brainstorming. So there's something called FigJam, which is sort of like a buddy program to get sort of bundled together with Figma. We use that, more generally for planning or brainstorming. Usually I would encourage using Figma for marketing material, since, we have a design system and it allows us to keep consistency. And it also just means it's a lot more flexible. It's also more in line with industry standards, but if Figma is too intimidating, we've also got Canva. So this one's fairly self-explanatory. You might have used it before. It basically just lets you create social graphics. I think the main use for Canva is it has existing templates that you can easily, reuse and repurpose to create marketing material if you just don't have the creativity that day. Cloudflare pages and GitHub. So this could technically be an entirely separate meeting, but this is specific to the EWB website, the EWBMQ website. So right now, the EWBMQ website is hosted on Cloudflare pages, and it has its code open sourced on GitHub, and that sort of flow is sort of all in one thing. So there's like an entire CI flow in terms of like, if you make a change on GitHub to the repository, so say if you make a change to a new page or you add a new page, that will automatically be pushed through GitHub Actions through the CI that we've got set up, and that'll automatically push live through Cloudflare pages. So yeah, let me know if you need like an entire explanation in terms of how the website works, if anyone's interested. But I'm hoping in the future we'll probably add a CMS in there or something like that just to make it easier. Okay, so partnerships. We've got a whole bunch of partners who we often communicate with. So the main one surrounding EWB, the organization itself. Since we're like officially affiliated with EWB, we've got a whole bunch of different people that we can contact. So not listed on here is the chapter engagement lead, Erin Wicking. She's a very good she is a very good point of contact for more general stuff, sort of at like the national level. Another chapter that's well worth reaching out to is EWB, the New South Wales region. So they, help with assistance in terms of corporate galvanizing. So they have a bunch of corporate partners that they can sort of provide contacts for. And then a very important one is other university chapters. So other EWB chapters at universities like UNSW, UTS, Western Sydney University, and the University of Sydney. So those guys, we're very close with the other EWB chapters in New South Wales, which is very lucky. And we've ran a whole bunch of different events with those guys in the past, especially last year and the year before. Some key ones were the Design Corner event and the Humanitarian Engineering Conference, as well as lots of smaller events. And of course, in other states, we could technically also collaborate with them, because EWB is a national organization and it has chapters, I think, in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Western Australia, essentially everywhere. And those are also chapters that we can always reach out to collaborate on with events. EWB International, so EWB, or Engineers Without Borders, as in the concept and the values surrounding it, is essentially a global movement, I guess. So there are other organizations overseas with no direct relationship with EWB, the organization in Australia, but they share the same values and they are well worth contacting if you ever come across them on social media or something like that. In fact, one specific organization, EWB Monash Malaysia, was one student group which we managed to get in contact with on Instagram, and we did manage to run a couple of events with those guys as well. So it's well worth reaching out to international partners, especially if you want to sort of help build that cross-cultural community. Other partners that are worth mentioning, Engineers Australia is a fantastic partner. So they're the national accrediting body for engineers. They often provide more career-centric sort of advice. They also provide lots of sponsorships for any large-scale events that we might run. The Young Engineers Australia group is a good point of contact. In fact, we've actually got a local chapter of Engineers Australia here at Macquarie University. I think Seidel is actually part of that chapter, so we've already got an insider. Other on-campus student groups are also really well worth reaching out to. So, you know, the Civil Engineering Society is a good point of contact, the Macquarie Automotive Society, Enactus, Macquarie University. Any sort of common student groups that we can collaborate with are well worth having a chat with to sort of help build the communities here on campus. And then, of course, the more obvious one, student engagement, the team at Macquarie Uni, specifically Ola and Sami, our CLOs. They are the first point of contact in terms of booking spaces, submitting annual reports. So that is, you know, indicating the status of the society, as well as requesting funding, which is very important in order for us to do things in person, especially. Yeah, I should note there is a Discord server for student engagement, which is well worth joining. Okay, I think that's everything. I'll go through some of the tools and services specifically just to show you guys around it. And then we'll dive into semester one planning. So Notion is the first one. So this is what Notion looks like. If you haven't created your account yet, please do. So some key pages well worth visiting is we have the task databases. So this is basically just the Kanban boards, which keeps track of any sort of stuff that we're working on. So if we have a certain initiative for an event, that will be separated out into multiple tasks, and you will be assigned to a set task or something like that. The events database. So this is specifically, you know, keeping track of what events are currently ongoing or what events are planned. So you can view that as a calendar, or you can view it as a list. So we had a bunch of stuff. This one's fairly new, so we haven't necessarily kept track of all of them. And then, of course, we've got the Ops Wiki. I'd recommend you guys check this one out, since the Ops Wiki has a whole bunch of different articles that allow you to get a better understanding in terms of how we do certain things. I think it's still incomplete, but hopefully it will be finished sometime soon. If you do see an article that's incomplete and you feel like you have some knowledge on it, just make sure you contribute to it. If you need any help with a certain thing that you would like documented, then just let me know and I'll try and write that down. Team roster. So it's best for us to keep a roster in terms of what our availability is like if we have like a recurring availability. I think right now it's still set to the old one. Private finances. I can't show this one on camera. or on the recording, but private finances essentially gives you details of the shared bank account that we have, which essentially has all of our funding in it. So we're currently in surplus, so we do have a set amount of funding that we can use. It also keeps track of receipts and the like. Other stuff, private meeting notes. If we have any meetings which we would like to not share with the whole world, then that would normally go in the private meetings folder. Private meetings in this case doesn't necessarily mean it's like super secretive or anything. It's just like if there's some sensitive information you don't want to share. Private resources, so sensitive documents, or if you've got certain kinds of events that you're running, and if, for example, there's a prize involved, then you want to make sure that members of EWBMQ don't see the actual document that would give them an advantage for getting said prize, then you would put it in the private resources folder. And then there's the archive, which is just, if there's like a page or something like that that we no longer need, but we don't necessarily want to delete, we'll put it in the archive. Other stuff, constitution. This one is well worth reading. That basically just describes the key processes, sort of the legal mumbo jumbo in terms of how we do things. Other stuff, event plans is also very important. So rather than, say, creating all the documentation and all of the processes for an event over and over again, if there's a specific kind of event that we know we're going to continue running in the future, then it is much better for us to put the effort into creating an event plan so that we don't have to recreate a lot of the material or recreate a lot of the processes around it over and over again. So an event plan in this case ensures that we've got something that we can just take and run with straight away. So we've got a bunch of things that I think are quite reusable. We haven't been very proactive in the past in terms of actually documenting some of the events we've run, especially some of the larger ones, which might be collaborative and have multiple people involved. With those ones, sometimes there'll be like a document, which will be normally on Google Drive, shared between the different universities. And that document will basically describe how, we run the event, or what the actual timetable looks like for running the said event. Other stuff worth mentioning, the general committee. So this is just to advertise positions in the general committee. I think at the moment, they're currently still set the old ones, but we can reuse these job applications for positions that we might advertise for this year, which we should definitely get on top of just right from the get-go, just to make sure that we've got enough support to continue running events. Meeting notes, fairly self-explanatory. It's meeting notes. All of our meetings are normally recorded, which means that you can actually go through, and if you see an interesting meeting that might explain a certain topic, you can just go back and view the recording. Another thing is if you miss a meeting, you can also just watch the recording. I would still encourage, attending meetings, but if for any reason you can't attend a meeting, it's always going to be recorded. Other things, resources. So this is especially important if there's, certain documents and the like that are spread across different services. So EWB, the organization, actually uses Box for a lot of their files. And then the university chapters normally use Google Drive. That gets very confusing. So just to make sure that we don't have to sign into a whole bunch of different services, we just keep track of it in the resources section here. So if there's a certain document or something like that that someone has linked to you, try and keep track of it in the resources section, or you can just look in the resources section if there's a certain thing that you want to keep track of. Finances, this is the public finances view. So this basically just gives an actual report in terms of our current financial status. So anything under this EWBMQ parent folder here is essentially public. So that's accessible through the EWBMQ website. And then of course, alumni, which is just a directory of past execs as well as current execs. Okay, I think that's everything for Notion. On Hubspot, there's more stuff. I'm going to zoom through it. Key things to know, there's a contacts list, which basically has a massive directory of all of your members that have signed up. there is in Conversations tab. The key thing here is the inbox. So it looks very self-explanatory. It kind of looks like an email inbox. So once someone sends an email to macquarie@ewb.org, you can basically just see that pop up here. And then you can sort of assign an owner to the conversation here, just to say, okay, they're talking to that person. I won't interfere and do whatever. And then it also sort of gives a nice overview in terms of that profile that we've got collected there. So if there's a member that's contacted you that's already signed up, it'll give extra information in terms of like, what year are they in, what's their email, what's their phone number, all of that sort of information that might be necessary to communicate with them. Other interesting stuff to keep track of in HubSpot, emails. So when we send out an email, we'll do it through HubSpot. So as you can see here, we've got one for like heck. This one also gives you statistics in terms of the open rate, click rate. So that's very useful for just generally understanding how all of our marketing initiatives are working. So in this case, you can also see like sort of like a nice overview in terms of which portions are clicked and which ones aren't. There's already a template for all of our emails, which you can repurpose and reuse. And it also gives a nice overview in terms of which contacts have engaged with our emails and which ones haven't. There's some stuff that's like locked away because you have to pay money for it, but we won't pay money for it because we're cheap. Okay, other stuff, forms. So this one's also important. So every time we have an event, we always have to have a form to collect the information and details for the event. It's best to always use HubSpot as a form for collection rather than something like Google Docs or Google Forms or the Facebook event indicator. It's always best to first direct them through a HubSpot form so that we can actually collect that information and also sort of aggregate it with all of the data that we already have. So in this case here, you've got like the memberships form, which sort of keeps track of all the submissions that we've got. Do note that that's actually a date region, so you can see all the people who have signed up. So this one here in particular is actually linked on the website. This one's actually embedded. So you can create an embed code of a certain form and then embed it on a certain page. So that's normally what we do for certain pages. So we'll essentially create a page on the EWBMQ website, and then we'll sort of embed the form in there. There's already a component for that, but we won't dive into the code. Other stuff on this, we don't use sales or service or automation or reports, but those are the key things that we always use HubSpot for. Other stuff, I think there was some stuff about Volaby. So Volaby should be self-explanatory. You literally just sign up and that's it, and you just leave it. And Figma, that's this one here. Figma is basically just where we create marketing material. Yeah, nothing too tricky. Okay, cool. That's out of the way, that's done. I should remind you guys that we do still have some outstanding tasks before we head into the whole planning session. So please make sure that you have access to Notion, HubSpot, and Discord at minimum. So let me know if you didn't receive an invite email for those different accounts. Other things are ensure you have access to Volaby. So as per our affiliation requirements, we have to make sure that you've got a working with children check. And so you basically just apply through Service New South Wales. Please read the articles on the Ops Wiki if you need more information in terms of how we do certain things. And very important, this one, please fill out the leadership change form from student engagement to let them know that you're now an executive of EWBMQ. And then of course you can enroll into the iLearn page for student groups, which I don't think is used very much, but it exists for some reason. Yeah, so those tasks are on the meeting notes of this meeting specifically. Please go through them, complete them, and let me know if you need any help in terms of getting them done. All right, cool. We're done with all of the boring stuff. So let's actually dive into ideation and figuring out what kind of stuff we want to do for the next semester. So we've still got sort of like a couple, maybe more than a couple of tasks that we got sort of sitting there. So main tasks currently in progress. We have the ops wiki. Ideally, we want to finish things in the ops wiki. I think this is basically just me, Joseph, and apparently Bruce, who need to complete some stuff. Other stuff in our backlog is just stuff that we could do, but don't necessarily have to do. What's this one? I don't know what this one means, so I'm going to delete it. Organize and review marketing for coding workshops. Oh my God, that's ancient. All right, cool. Well,
coding workshop, it's still there.
It's still there. I haven't finished the event plan for it.
I've been hearing it for 2 semesters now.
We were planning it for like a year or two, weren't we? And then
I know,
we never
right?
finished it.
And I thought
my
Ivan
bad.
was helping you doing it.
Yeah, okay, so we'll have a look at the event plans. So the basic one, I think it's probably worthwhile. Let's open up the calendar. Okay, when does uni return?
21st of February.
21st?
Go to the February calendar. Let me see. It's the last week of February. So
January, February, 21st?
it's 21st, the first one.
This is 21st. Is 21st of February, the beginning of uni?
I'm so confused. I'm not sure. Let me check. Give me a minute.
I'll sort of add an indicator. You feeling all right there?
No, man, I'm dying.
Lots of coughs.
Fever, coughs, a lot of things.
Don't die on us, man.
23rd of February. No, that's the different one. 21st, yeah, 21st of February.
21st of February. Okay, cool. Semester 1 starts. Cool. So that's assuming that this week will be O week, I think. So in terms of the events that we normally run during O week, if we go back into the calendar a little bit.
The events that we run during the whole week.
Yes, here we go. Newbie nights.
Basically the whole week and then one meet and greet.
Yeah, so this is normally the stuff that we run during O week. So we run some sort of digital newbie session that sort of explains exactly what we do, how we do stuff. Okay, I'm actually going to create a fig jam for this so that we can actually document this stuff before we put it on Notion. I'll link it to you guys. EWBMQ planning semester 1. Events. I'll share the link. Okay, there you go. I've put that in there. How long have we spent in this meeting so far?
I believe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes? Okay, I'll try and speed it up to 15 minutes so that we're not spending like 2 hours on this. Okay, so I've sent through the FigJam file through the Zoom chat and on the Notion ticket, and I'll send it through on Discord as well. Please open that up and we'll basically just get through planning. See, and the events that we want to run. Okay. Oh, that's big. Okay, events. And then we'll create another title for week 1. Week 2. It's a little messy, but you know, it'll do. We'll make it look pretty and all that later, but we don't need to make it look pretty just now. Does everyone have access to it? Yes.
Give me a minute. I'm still signing in.
All good.
Shouldn't we have a like week 0?
Is that actually before week 1? It is, right?
Yes.
Whoop. Cool. And I think it only goes up to week 12, right? I think sometimes it goes past that.
It's 13.
Okay, we'll add a 13 over here. Okay, so cool. Feel free to grab a sticky note and then just create events under this events heading here. Don't worry about putting it on this rough calendar here, but just think of any events that we think would be worthwhile running. So the very basic ones are digital newbie sessions. So 3 sessions hosted virtually, which explain what nice.
Sorry, that's me.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What is and how people can get involved.
School outreach. Will we
combine
do this one?
Games session. So it's probably best if we like host it as a game session for the digital movie sessions. School outreach, that's another one we could do.
Governor night.
A governor night. So sort of like a chill or meetup in person.
Meet and greet, yeah, something like that.
Meet.
That was mine.
So governor, drinks, Uno, sesh. What other stuff can we do with a meet and greet? Pizza at U-Bar. We did pizza at U-Bar last time. That went well, I think.
You really think that went well?
Make it just sound like it was a disaster, dude.
So I reckon, I mean, firstly, can you guys hear me? Is that better?
Yes.
Now? Sweet. Yeah, so maybe if we could come up with like some kind of hackathon, I think that would also bring some interest to the society itself.
I think last year during semester 1, we did the design corner, which is a really big one. So you can add that in sort of the design corner. So normally design corner is actually a collaborative event done together with a whole bunch of different unis.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of our biggest events that we normally run in the first semester.
Yeah.
I think it actually might be worthwhile doing a meetup with execs from other EWB uni
Yes,
chapters.
agreed. I think that would be really good.
Well worth it. We did that last time or last year, and it was really effective in terms of sort of forming the relationship with any new people on the teams. And it basically just made it a lot easier to do those kinds of events because we already knew each other from the meetup.
Yeah.
Oops.
I have a plan. Have you guys thought about excursion?
Excursion?
Yeah.
What kind of excursion?
Somewhere good. Maybe.
Somewhere good.
Well, maybe the Google office or the Microsoft office.
Yeah, we could do an excursion.
Or the Telstra office.
Yeah, you can put that down. Where'd the design corner one go? Oh, we could put design corner.
I X'd it. Yeah, put it back up.
Design corner, collaborative hackathon done together, organized together with other university chapters. Excursion, yeah, that's one thing.
What should we write for excursion?
But what kind of excursions do you think we could do?
Industry excursion.
That brings me to another thing. Industry nights or industry networking nights, they tend to be pretty effective. And then we can potentially consider partnership with
What kind of events do the other societies run? Do we know?
Other EWB chapters or other university chapters? So other EWB chapters normally run stuff like, I think the key ones are Design Corner, Humanitarian Engineering Conference, networking nights. School outreach is a very key one. So it's basically just going to different schools and sort of discussing certain sustainability topics to young students.
You mean high schools?
It's either high schools or primary schools. I think normally we do primary schools because high school is intimidating. It's normally in sort of more regional or
there's a certain target demographic.
Yeah, there's a certain demographic that we target. So people who would most benefit from getting some insight into STEM, definitely. It's something that we actually ran. I think it was our very first event it was our very first event ever as a student group. We actually ran a school outreach workshop at, where was it, Joseph?
We did one at St. Clair's College in Waverly.
St. Clair's, yeah, in Waverly. And I think that was together with the UNSW EWB chapter.
Yep.
And then I don't think we actually got to run any school outreach workshops after that. It's actually a very core part of what EWB chapters do, and it would be very good for us to actually get that up off the ground. I think in this case, there's already a whole bunch of resources on the Notion which actually have many of the different kinds of processes documented and ready to go. We've even got like an actual slide deck that Abdullah, our VP partnerships from last year, already created. The downside was, I think, well, the tricky part I think that we faced was reaching out to schools. So actually having a conversation or having a line of communication with other schools in terms of, organizing the event. And of course it was, it's difficult doing it virtually. So there's lots of different things that you would have to take into account.
Especially since we didn't have that street cred that other unis had in terms of
they already have, like, a lot of unis already have an existing list of schools that they've already had school outreach workshops at, which meant that relationship was already created and established basically, and they could easily just visit those schools and engage. We don't quite have that same relationship with other schools in at least our area. Okay, consider collaborating with Engineers Australia. Or other university chapters. Design Corner is going to be a big one. I feel like Design Corner, when did we run it last time, Joseph? I think that was the mid-semester break, right?
I think, wait, let me actually check. It was just before lockdowns were imposed again.
Have we ever run any surveys of like the members of the society to ask them what would you like to see from us? Have we ever done that?
We haven't sent out surveys before. I think normally we want to ask people like after the event, you know, how did you find said event? What do you think could be improved? That sort of stuff. I think normally we do that for, I think we did that for Design Corner and Humanitarian Engineering Conference. And there were like a bunch of insights from that. I think I can dig that up, but we haven't sent like an end of year, like it would actually be a good idea to send like an end of year survey, just sort of asking them, what are you most looking for from us, or something like that, like not necessarily prompted because of an event.
Yeah, because I mean, because like the sense that I get sometimes in these sort of activities is we're digging blind. Like we're sort of going with ideas that have kind of worked already before in the past. It's not a bad way of going about things, and also kind of things that we think would be fun. And those are great. Those are great ways of going about it. But I think like we should be a bit more targeted, because we want to make sure our efforts are effective. You know, like if they want to see something specific, then let's actually action that, right? Like I feel like the hangouts, like I remember in the chats before I was an executive, in the chats certainly towards the last end of the year, like people were more interested in meeting up and actually like hanging out together and doing game nights and stuff like that, which I think is something we can definitely action on. But I'm like more curious to see how we could like actually, like the sense I get, I'm not sure what you guys think about this, but like every society is unique. Every society has its unique focus. And I think our focus is the humanitarian aspect. Like we work with, you know, humanitarian projects, we have access to those kind of projects. So I'm trying to think to myself, like, how can we like work that in? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Design Corner is great. That's one way of doing it. I think situations, and I think if we can create situations in which there are real world, like humanitarian issues, and then ask people to engineer solutions on, let's say, a day or so, like a hackathon, they may be effective as well. I'm not sure what you guys think about that.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, because I think a lot of the time, and this is like an ongoing sort of thought that I think a lot of EWB chapters have, especially university chapters, is how do we actually get involved in humanitarian issues directly as a university chapter? I mean, EWB, the organization, they do have initiatives and projects overseas that they directly engage with. Although university chapters aren't normally involved in that process, which is really unfortunate sometimes, because as a university student, you really want to get your hands on a project. But then, of course, it makes sense because, you know, it's not necessarily something that you want to get an untrained engineer involved in. But then, you know, I think generally the organization considers university chapters more as a form of outreach and as a form of advocating for humanitarian engineering principles and values. And normally that's been the role for something like EWBMQ. However, it does make a lot of sense that a lot of university students want to get their hands dirty and actually do something. So hackathons are a really fantastic way to sort of allow them to tackle something directly, even though it's, you know, maybe theoretical or not something that actually exists. So I think case cracks are also really good. So, you know, creating a solution to a problem that's given. Design Corner is, I think, always one of the bigger events, and it's generally well received. Personally, I've been really interested in perhaps starting some actual projects, particularly software projects, because there's this weird niche where you could start a software project that has a certain solution to a humanitarian problem that you can then work on collaboratively quite easily, which isn't really as plausible for something like, say, a civil engineering project or something like that, because you've literally got to procure all of your materials and the like. So I'm curious if we could technically start up some sort of like actual open source projects, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
Like
like
software projects.
that's a really good way of looking at it, and that's a really good idea. Like having open source software projects. I mean, something that we can like work together as a team over the future, and we can have like a group of engineers with us that I can actually
Yes.
work on that sort of stuff. But you know, I think like with civil and with potentially even like let's say with like a hard engineering, this is where like telecommunications engineering. I'm not, I think Joseph, you can weigh in here. I think you're a telecommunications engineer major. But maybe we could like come up with like, we could have some collaboration with the actual schools and work in their laboratory and work towards this, work towards an issue with like actual, you know, professors on the issue itself as a volunteer on a volunteer basis. Do you know what I mean? From a society perspective.
Yep, definitely. Regarding those, what do you call it? Like hands-on engineering
Yeah.
kind of majors. We used to have design summits, which were organized by the like national organization. The thing is, it was postponed or like, you know, set aside because of COVID. So we couldn't actually go to the actual communities where they actually have those projects. Like an example would be the WASH project, which provides clean water for certain remote communities, like in regional Australia or overseas. There's also the renewable power thing. I forgot what it was all about, but the main focus was on providing energy to those communities. Those things we can like ask the national chapter for help, whether like how we can actually contribute to those as a university chapter. We just have to get on a meeting with them as well, and possibly have something to suggest to them, like how we would do it.
Yeah, I keep forgetting COVID is such a massive like game changer as well. Like COVID has screwed all face-to-face interactions. Like I'm not thinking of it from that perspective as well.
Yeah, but yeah, EWB used to be a more hands-on kind of society. Like that was what we were thinking when we started it, like in 2019, when I showed Nathan this like huge book of like things that we do. Yeah, it was just unfortunate that we had COVID and everything that was like
we had to adapt.
Yeah, we had to adapt. It was a strange time.
I mean, that's like the main reason why so much of our cohort is now software engineers. And I think why so much of the stuff that we have been essentially doing has been so digital first rather than in person. I mean, I think for the very few events that we have run in person, they have been quite widely successful. And I think those are normally the ones that we get the most engagement from and the most receptive responses from individuals within our society and outside of our society. It's very difficult to run those kinds of events because of the circumstances. So we've had to adapt a little bit. Yeah, and one of those things is just quietly pushing for software stuff to happen more often.
But then,
but yeah,
hopefully, 2022 will be better for society as well.
Yeah, that's what we said in 2021. Actually, 2021 was good. It was actually a very good year.
Yeah, we actually have a huge in-person event as well. Yeah,
the beginning was fantastic. I think that was the most engaged we'd ever been. We had, I think, almost weekly just casual meetups, and we had the design corner, which was massive. We had heaps and heaps of stuff going on.
I mean, Heck was supposed to be bigger.
Heck was supposed to be another in-person event that was, I think, even bigger than Design Corner, because it was meant to be a camp. It was meant to be like an actual camp with other university chapters where you would go out to camp Fletcher, was it?
Yeah.
And then you would basically just spend like 2-3 days there.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, that sounds so good. Yeah.
It was a really good plan, but lockdown happened.
COVID hit.
Yeah. And we had to shift the entire thing online, and it basically just became a conference, like an actual conference, like an online sort of conference. And, there were portions of it that were really, like, I think, engaging, but then there were other portions of it that felt like, oh, this is kind of like Design Corner, but it's got more talking. And
yeah.
If you ask, there's only so much you can do online. Yeah.
If you ask me, the whole thing about online is the online fatigue, the Zoom fatigue. It just gets you, you know. And at one
Yeah.
point, you don't want to do stuff online anymore.
It's
And
very
people start-
hard to engage
Yeah.
people on Zoom
And
calls.
people
Like,
start avoiding, you know, anything, any events or anything that's actually happening in Zoom.
yeah.
It's really hard to attract them at that point.
Well, this is where I think project-based things will hopefully be more effective at engaging people. Like if we can try and start some, you know, maintaining some small open source projects, considering we've got a heavy software engineering cohort, it might be a good approach. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I really like that idea of having an open source project because it's like
Yeah.
it isn't a one-hit wonder. Like it's actually a consistent reason to meet up
evergreen.
again.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
evergreen, so it keeps going.
Yeah, exactly. Which is solid. I really like that, and that as well. The guys that join us, the engineers from the members of our society, they get skill sets. They can put it on their resumes. We can make a nice little post about it on our website and on our social medias, and that's going to bring more people to us because we're offering them opportunity to actually work on projects, which is what people want.
Yeah.
Really, like if you like, I'm a big member of Max. I don't know what that means. I don't know what big member means. I guess I'm very active. I'm very active with Max, and that's what those are the ones that really hit. Are the ones where they offer you projects and they'll offer you to work on them. And I think that's really what our niche is actually, because the humanitarian aspect and then engineers coming together. Let's come up with projects on our own. We don't need to speak to the schools about it. We can come up with projects on our own and start working on things together. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Like
Nathan, it kind of
project-based
sounds like what do you call it? Enactors. You know, when they
Enactus.
came up with their own projects and divided
Yeah,
the whole thing
kind
in
of. I think
projects.
Enactus does like more than just software stuff. I think they do stuff like
Yeah, they're best on business, so they will be
yeah, it's very
business.
business centric, but they actually
Yeah.
have a competition that they get involved in at the end of the year. So it's like a whole bunch of different projects or ventures basically. And then at the end of each year, they sort of compete with other Enactus chapters, and you know, the best project wins or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it kind
Yeah,
of
and there's
sounds
actual
fun,
money involved, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Yeah.
Which is a good incentive.
They're
Yeah.
kind of like EWB, but for profit.
Yeah, it's EWB, but with a profit motive. EWB
Well,
doesn't have a
dude,
profit
you have to
motive.
think about it. They are business society, so
But
they
yeah,
need
they're
to think about
business.
profit. You know.
Yeah.
For us, the incentives should be more about, you know, engineering, but for them, it's all about money. So yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a fantastic niche in human-centered sort of design, especially it's centered around software engineering that just hasn't been touched on, and it's very rare to see. So I think the only place that you would see a lot of human-centered design in software development is normally in governments or in sort of digital agencies and like. I'm not going to start ranting about it now, but it's a fantastic whole subsection of software engineering that's really worth diving into, because it's, you know, it's not very talked about very much, and it would be beneficial for EWB, especially considering that they have had a lot of trouble keeping their members engaged because of the virtual environment, and being able to sort of create at least somewhat of a culture of embracing software engineering into the engineering side of things would definitely help, you know.
But I also think, like, I mean, the software engineering side is great. That's awesome. But we also kind of have to be mindful of the other disciplines that we represent as well. Like, like I think that's why I'm like trying to like the software engineering stuff is awesome. But are there any I guess like aspects to the harder engineering disciplines that can be done remotely?
Well, a lot of that becomes more like informational sessions, or like you can't really do an engaging engineering project virtually. Like you might be able to do maybe like documentation, hackathons, those sorts of things. Like they're kind of possible virtually, but it's not quite the same
yeah,
as a software project.
Why are we thinking virtually? Because I think university is going to open from this side.
Yes, but I think it's probably wise for us to consider that it will be virtual just from the get-go, and then also planning for it to be So we want to do both, I think. That sounds wise. We will probably want to
What
plan
we
for it
can
to
do
be
is
both
we can-
virtual and in person,
What we can
just
do
to be
is,
safe.
yeah, what we can do is we can plan the physical one and keep the virtual one as a contingency plan, you know?
Yeah. But ideally, we'll have to do like
Yeah, we have to move for
both.
the virtual one. Yeah.
Yeah, both, just to be
we-
safe.
Do we have any professors at Macquarie from the engineering school that are friendly with us that we can talk to
Yeah.
about? We do? Okay.
Mhm.
Can we reach out to them and ask them if they have any projects they're working on which they require volunteers or anything like that? Like, can we do that?
Yeah, there's Byron Wilson. Like he's not actually a professor, but he's more like
He's a point of contact.
yeah, more like admin stuff. And there's also, I think Rex is kind of warming up to us. Like last time I talked to him. There's also Nick, who we can talk to as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we still have to reinforce or, I guess, improve the relationship with those two professors, but we'll get there, I think, with you guys here.
Yeah, no, we had a good chat with Professor Eaton during the the consultation, the engineering faculty consultation session that they had. He seemed quite interested in EWB, and he sort of mentioned briefly that, like, you know, they're very keen on setting up a more generalist engineering society. Yeah, I'm not sure about projects within engineering specifically. Like
they have something similar, which is like a school outreach. I think Leap. Is it
Yeah,
Leap?
it is.
Leap.
Leap.
Yeah,
But there's also a thing that they support, which is First Robotics. Recently the founder died. The founder in Australia died.
wait, really?
Professor Mike Heimlich. If you've
Oh,
heard of
right.
him. He was an electrical engineer at Macquarie and recently died. I'm not sure why, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of their family is still at Macquarie, so you can probably ask first as well if we could collaborate with them on something. They do robotic stuff. Pretty cool. I'm not sure how, but you know, something, I guess.
Personnel.
We don't have Melanie anymore. She used to be our biggest point of contact at the
She was very
school.
supportive. She was
Yeah.
great.
Well, Allison is on leave as well.
Again. Okay.
Okay, so reach out to professors or personnel within the engineering faculty for any projects.
Whose keyboard is that? Is that Joseph?
It's
I
not
think that's
mine.
Krish.
My mechanical keyboard. Yeah, that's what I'm using.
Brown
Why?
switches.
No,
Very loud.
it's the red switches, I think.
I don't know anything about keyboards, so I'm just saying words.
I'm just saying words.
Okay. Let's work on. What was the other suggestion? Hands-on. Yeah, that'll work. We could probably add games nights in there, just like a weekly games night. I think that's probably pretty good. Or weekly games night, just to keep people like engaged, more social stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Weekly games night.
We also have a section on Discord dedicated for gaming. So you might want to, I mean, you guys might want to consider reviving that section. Making in a survey, like you can ask how many people actually own a PC that they can game on. You guys can game together, I guess. Just to keep the engagement going, because that was
you
lacking.
guys play Minecraft?
No,
we've got our own Minecraft server, don't we?
We do.
Is
but
that still
we did-
running?
No, it's not running anymore because there's a new update. So, yeah, I also canceled it because no one is really playing yet.
It was just the Joseph Malikan Minecraft server. Yeah, one player. Yeah, I mean, it would be good to sort of set up like a recurring thing. I would be interested in weekly Tinker sessions.
By the way, why don't we have all week?
A week?
Oh,
Yeah.
Week 0?
Yeah, nothing for all week.
Oh, there should be stalls coming up. Hold up, add a ticket for that as well. O week stalls. Apparently they're going to be in person, but they haven't said anything in terms of when, where, or whether or not they're going to run. They said it's possible, it's likely. I'll have to look for the specific dates. I did fill out a form which said that we're going to do every day of the week. Basically just saying like, yes, we're doing all of them. So they basically give us the slots. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see in terms of how a week is going to pan out. But it's good to just have like a backup plan with the digital movie nights and stuff. And it should also be pretty good to have, because I think a lot of students like the flexibility of online stuff, especially if they've got work and stuff. But we need more in-person stuff for sure.
Definitely, they really enjoyed it's a huge advantage having it online. But the problem is that the events online largely suck. Like that's the truth about it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not quite the same, because you're just like, sometimes people just won't talk. They'll just be sitting there and they won't turn on their webcam and they'll just not engage at all. I think you'll notice that for some of the bigger events that we share with other universities, sometimes, especially UCID students, we call them the peppers, they will only join your events because they have to get their hours up as part of their PEP program, because there's like a requirement as part of their degree. So they'll just join and they won't do anything. They'll just sit there. It's very annoying.
I'm sure Gleep is like that as well. Like I'm sure people join this side for just Gleep points and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. I should note that this is recorded, by the way, so let's be respectful.
The other thing is that, are we getting a stall for a week?
We are, yes. Well, supposedly.
Okay, so if we are getting a stall, then we can like get people to sign up for EWBMQ and like offer them some goodies, like some stickers or cards,
merch.
Because like because like since we have 1 month time, we can like make something up, like print some stickers. I was thinking about printing some cards about like with like a Uno sized card that has the EWBMQ logo on it, so that like people can keep it with them and then like probably place it behind their phone maybe to showcase it, and then give them like some sort of small stickers that they can stick on their student ID.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Get these free goodies if they sign up.
I was thinking about keychains or
keychains. Yeah, that could work. I mean, we have the budget.
I was thinking about giving it away for free. So because like keychains are going to be quite expensive, but like a bunch of stickers and cards will be piece of paper. That won't be much of a problem. We can print like 100. I think that should be enough.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Free merch and free food, especially free food, because that's how you get them. Yeah. Apparently, like everyone back in, when they were running events, they always said like, oh, free food gets people to sign up. They'll follow you around just so you can, so they can find the free food. But free merch is also really good, because I remember we considered setting up a merch store. Would that be kind of cool? Like setting up our own store and designing custom merch that we can sell. I actually asked about this, and apparently, according to like the legality around setting up a merch store or something like that, especially considering that there is risk around depending on student engagement for our funding allocations. So trying to become more self-sustainable made us consider whether or not we want to introduce membership fees and whether or not we want to start selling stuff. So it would actually be kind of cool if we set up a merch store and just sell certain kinds of merchandise. And then they can like pick it up from Macquarie Uni or something like that.
How much merchandise do you think would actually be sold though? Because
well, it depends.
I don't know how many people would actually buy that stuff. Okay.
So
let
me dig one up that we had. We had the, what was it? The really swag looking EWBMQ hoodies, which were quite popular. I think all of our alums have a copy. So these were some of the hoodies that we had. like just general stuff, just to keep them from providing us money to keep things going or something. So a hoodie, or whether it's something more useful. I've considered like, what was something else that we had? We had a mobile app. Where was it? Was it the events app? We had thoughts of setting up a mobile app that they can install, and then they can keep track of the events that we have. And then we thought, oh, we can create like a digital ID or something. Yeah, something like this.
Yeah,
And then-
that's what I was talking about. Instead of like having a mobile app, we can give them like a card, maybe.
Yeah.
Because like not everyone wants to install an app just to enter an event once, like in 1 or 2 months, maybe.
Mm.
But like
And then-
having a physical card, it's all right. They can just throw it in their wallet or like keep a picture of it,
We'll have both.
I've thought of like,
and then
the-
they can like add it to their wallets if they want to.
yeah, it would be cool if we had like, I don't know, what do you call it? Do you remember this idea? I brought this up last time, didn't I, Joe? Said the loyalty points
Yeah.
system. Like we can partner with, say, some of the stores or restaurants on campus, especially like in Macquarie Centre or whatever, or in what was it, Central Courtyard?
Yeah, Central Courtyard.
And then we can sort of allow people to gain points, and then if they reach certain levels, they can get discounts at places in Central Courtyard. So then being an EWB member, not only becomes like something that you can, engage with events and stuff, but you can also now get benefits by being an EWBMQ member. And then we can sort of add in merchandise and maybe even a subscription fee or something like that for memberships, just to keep the sustainability going. But that would be an interesting open source project that we could work on, and then allowing other student groups to also create their own.
So far, what I want to think about is like plan about all week, what we're going to do in the stall. But yeah, that's a nice idea. I think Joseph mentioned that Iguana also agreed to do it with us. The Mexican.
I think Iguana shut down.
What?
Yeah, they shut down permanently. Iguana.
What?
Sure.
They did? As in in CC?
The one in 1CC, yeah. Maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe. There's a high chance they did.
Oh, okay. Oh, high chance. Okay, so it's
I'm
possible.
talking about high chance. It's possible, but it's not.
Don't get our hopes down like that, Seidel. Sorry, what was your question? Seidel, what was your question?
Oh, what was my
You had your hand raised.
Ah, yes. So I was gonna ask, how is the members gonna earn point? The loyalty point.
Good question. I don't know. This is a really rough idea, man. It's a very outlandish idea. It's not necessarily solid.
Maybe we can do something like this. If somebody is joining the event, maybe they can earn point. But I'm not sure, because if you're judging people by being how engaged they are, only joining event doesn't count, because sorry guys, I'm just dying.
Oh, good.
What happened?
Sorry, I saw if you're clapping.
So I was just gonna ask, how are you gonna judge people about the loyalty points? My question.
We rank people. We're gonna turn it into a social credit system.
Well, we can do for the March store, but you said it's gonna be a problem. So
no, so I think generally a point system is very effective. We're essentially gamifying our membership by allowing people to get benefits by staying engaged. So that would be the way that they sign up for events, for example, is hooked up to Hubspot. So that means when they fill out a form through Hubspot and they are seen attending the event, we can essentially trigger a point offering or something like that, where they will get some points for attending said event. Or something like if there's a case crack competition and they win the case crack, they get extra EWB points which provides them with extra benefits in terms of discounts and stuff like that. And even better is that if we make this an open source project that we can then share with other student groups, we could potentially allow them also to offer points for running events and the like, so that we're essentially building a wider community for lots and lots of different student groups at Macquarie to, you know, keeps them engaged in terms of paying money to
this
instant
gives
report
me a
things.
really good idea. Okay, we can set up our own blockchain and have our own EWBMQ
Yes,
money. Yes.
Oh,
we're setting up the
Oh.
blockchain.
oh,
Guys, this is recorded.
Oh yeah, okay.
oh,
How long
okay.
have we been in this? It's
Okay.
been almost 2 hours, so we'll wrap this up in 10 minutes or so. But yes, other than that outlandish idea, I'll write it down for now as like projects that we can consider doing. So software projects we could consider building. It's not necessarily very human-centered. It's a very profit motive. Okay, so
Well,
merch
think about it.
App with loyalty points system offered discounts for engagement. I think there's a bunch of other stuff we can do as well. In terms of in-person stuff, free foods and then free merch is a good way to keep people, you know, coming back. Okay, actually, let's start moving all of our tasks or all of these event ideas that we've got and plotting them down onto the actual weeks that we have. So mid-semester, is the mid-semester break after week
After
6,
7th week.
was it?
After 7.
After 7?
Usually it is after 7, but last year it was after 6 because was it last year or last? I forgot, but yeah, it's usually after 7.
Usually after 7, yeah. Okay, so in terms of stuff we can do, O week is probably going to be digital movie sessions and O week stalls. The first week, it's definitely good to do the meetups. So meeting up with EWB uni chapters, and then I think in person would be good. Week 2, weekly games night. I think we can set that as like a recurring thing, can we? I'll add like an extra category up here of like a weekly thing, ongoing.
The design corner fits in the 5th week, I believe.
Yeah, open source software project will be ongoing. Design corner is like mid-sem, I think.
Was it? Oh yes, it was mid-sem.
Was it mid-semester, something like that? And then industry networking night. Let's leave a bit of a break in between them. So let's say like week 3, industry networking night, something like that. Weekly games night. I think we've already got one. Yeah. Humanitarian engineering conference. So that one's actually going to be semester 2. So I'll leave that over here. Smaller scale case cracks. I don't know. What seems like
I'll keep it here.
it seems fairly decent. Maybe we can do multiple industry networking nights. So we can do it in, say, week 4 here. So we need to leave some time for planning, ideally like 2 weeks or so, and we can do another one in week 10 or so. An excursion is probably going to be good for mid-semester, where people actually have time to head out. And school outreach is also good for mid-semester. And then we'll have enough space in between all of these for weekly games nights, and then the ongoing ones like weekly Tinker sessions, weekly games nights, the open source software projects that might be ongoing. Okay, that looks pretty good. Nice. Okay, so I think our event plan for newbie sessions is already set. In terms of how we translate all of this into individual tasks, it would be good for us to start creating them now. So O week stalls is definitely going to, it's going to run. We're going to want to run it. things we'll need to do is we'll need to procure food and merch that we can sort of hand out. Ideally, we'd also need to procure any sort of material or marketing material that we might need in order to, advertise our presence. Some dude was mowing the lawn next door. Thanks, bro. So I think we've already got some marketing material that we can reuse. So in student engagement, we've actually got a massive banner that we can sort of place next to our stall. Okay, so procure marketing or procure materials for O Week. Nabia, do you mind if I add you to the procurement for this one? And you can work with me together on that. That's going to be, let's set a due date for, I'll leave it fairly late on because I have a feeling that we probably want to like check that it's actually going to run before we actually start doing it. So I'm going to set that due date to like
Late of
early February. Like Saturday, 5th of February seems fine.
Yep.
And then the 21st there, and then O Week is here. So we've got like a week before O Week where we can sort of start procuring the actual stuff. So things we want to procure, purchase merchandise to hand out at our O Week stalls, including so t-shirts, I think as a basic one, stickers, stickers. Is there any other stuff that we think we really want to hand out?
Like Uno-sized cards.
Cards,
Like card-sized cards.
Oh yeah, sort of like the ones we had. I think we have a bunch. Like
Yeah, Joseph gave me one. I found it.
I think I've got a bunch
in
in
my
here.
old stuff when I was cleaning my room after this sem.
Do I still
This
have
might
them?
be outdated.
They were pretty cool. I mean, we still have the QR code on them. That still looks pretty legit. Yeah, I've got one. These ones got little cards that have EWB on them. And it has a QR code that they can scan. And it has the link to the website. It has a Linktree link though. It doesn't have like the EWBMQ website.
Yeah.
I think we still have a Linktree one, but it would be good for it to be just the EWB site.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it doesn't really. I don't understand. Like, what use does this serve?
Yeah.
It's not very sustainable. Printing out paper stuff. Cards or info cards, like wallet sized. Like that seems like a good alternative to big posters rather than handing out like a leaflet. So this is a very good alternative to a leaflet.
Yeah.
Stickers, that's fine. T-shirts, that's fine. I think those are like the core ones, right?
Have you guys seen Carl Linear? Like the linears for car keys?
Car keys.
Yeah, the linears for car keys. Look for it online.
A what?
It's the ribbons that you stick onto your car keys.
Yeah.
Ah.
The linear.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Minions.
No.
You want to put minions?
Lanyards. Sorry, lanyards.
Lanyards.
Yep.
Yeah, we could do lanyards. But yeah. we could do yeah, lanyards. Yeah. I think we've still got lanyards, right? From Design Corner. I can't remember if we did lanyards or we just did stickers. I can't remember.
We didn't have merch for design corner.
Yeah,
Oh,
we only had
only
the hoodies, and that was only for execs.
executive.
Yeah. Okay. Purchase merchandise. I think that's fine for merchandise. And then in terms of food, purchase food/drinks.
Not pizzas.
I think we always do pizzas, don't we? It's pretty effective.
Thinking like
No
every
more Domino's.
student like clubs will arrange pizza, so you can
Yeah.
do something else.
Everyone's going to do pizzas. Well, you can be non-perishable. Is that the like you can do I don't know,
Juice.
candy?
Yeah, we can do
Something.
chocolates because like if we have any excess left, we can save it for later, you know. But like if we have food, if we have any excess, it will get wasted.
So what kind of drinks do we want? We should make it like a themed, right? Like iced tea.
Okay, I have an idea. Why don't we print a lot of stickers and stick them on disposable glasses? Instead of buying cans and stuff, we can use those glasses.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. We can have like a big, like lemonade
Yeah,
tin
yeah,
or something like that, and then
like,
we
will
serve
give
it
them the glasses.
in like compostable cups, preferably.
Green
Yeah,
juice.
and
Yes, green juice. Buy big jug of drink, or create a jug of drink like lemonade or something.
Then add food coloring to it. Change the color.
Yeah, make it green.
yeah, EWB green. But like the focus would be like giving them the disposable glasses that have the EWB name on it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like a
That's what I was thinking about.
reusable cup.
Yeah, yeah. No. Like a disposable cups. Like we can buy the cups because like we don't have enough time. We have only 1 month. If we place an order, it usually takes like 2 or 3 weeks. And like if we look, I'm the type to go crazy with money and stuff, but like we can get disposable cups, like the small sizes, and stick the EWB sticker.
That's probably a better idea.
Disposable.
But isn't that
No, compostable. But get stickers on the compostable cups is what he's saying. Correct? Did I get that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We
think
just need to be-
that's more achievable. Yeah.
We just need to be conscious of the environmental component in terms of making sure it is in fact compostable.
Yeah, because like since food and drinks supposed to be given away for free, we don't want to like spend thousands of dollars on drink cups.
Yeah, especially if we're going to like buy a massive pack of plastic cups, like that doesn't seem very sustainable.
No, they'll be compostable. They'll be compostable. Why would? Yeah, we should make it compostable. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, biodegradable cups. We'll add that as part of the merchandise stuff that we hand out, but we can just hand those out. We don't have to like. Well, I mean, we're handing all of them out, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In this case, it's just for the food and drink stuff. So a big jug of drink rather than several bottles. Yeah. Or in this case, we could do like, I don't know, lemonade or something. Like make it ourselves. If that's an option.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Do we want to bake our own stuff? Who's good at baking?
Take a lot of time, you know, but like we need to plan ahead for the drink cups, the merchandise and stuff. But the drink can be made the night before or week, you know?
Yeah. Okay, well, I can then say separate these out into 2 tasks. So we'll have one for purchasing merchandise and things that might take longer to procure, and then one for food and drinks that we'll probably just buy the week before or something like that.
Yeah.
Or on the day if it's something that's going to be, you know, won't last as long. Okay, so procure handouts for a week. So that's this one. Okay, and then order food/drinks for O week, and that'll be February 5th. Probably 12th. big jug of drink, or what do you call it? Like something that, like you have you guys seen those big cans of iced tea powder?
No.
What?
So it's like a powder where if you add water to it, it creates iced tea.
Oh, yeah. I saw it.
Yeah, we could do something like that, and you can just make a massive tub of iced tea or something.
Yeah.
Why iced tea?
I don't know. That's like the first thing that came to mind. Maybe I'm just craving iced tea.
That's Nathan's favorite drink. For
I
context.
know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, what about
You know what? Wait.
Oh, do you have some?
No. Oh, I have
Gatorade?
Gatorades.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Gatorade. We're gonna hand out Gatorade.
I think we could consider the weather as well during the event.
Yeah, like it will probably be pretty hot, right? So maybe we could do ice cream.
It's 8 liters, bro. Just one can makes 8 liters.
Hot damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do Gatorade. Big jug of drink. Ice tea powder. Gatorade.
Lemonade.
Sure. Yeah, because we can get, is it green Gatorade?
Yeah, it's the lemon lime flavor. We can just call it the lemonade, you know, after mixing it up.
What if they're allergic to electrolytes?
Okay.
Other foods. Well, what about foods? Things they can eat.
Chocolates. Chocolate is the best thing that comes in my mind.
Chocolates. That can melt, right?
Yeah.
Fruit? Would it be weird to bring fruit?
Bananas.
But yeah, just hand out
buy them
bananas.
the day before. They get rotten, man.
Like they get vegetable dips.
Would you like some
Uh,
broccolis with the drink?
Chocolates, or we can do our own cooking.
I was thinking sushi,
These-
but I think most people.
Oh yeah,
don't
that's a
like
great
sushi. Nah.
one.
Because
That's
most-
expensive.
That's
No, no.
super expensive. That's not a good idea.
I
And
remember
most
we
people
asked
don't like
iguanas.
sushi, you know?
I remember asking iguanas about the burritos, and apparently they can offer deals and stuff like that, but it's really pricey.
It was pricey. It was going to cost around $2,000 for one event.
Yeah, $2,000 worth of burritos. So not, that's like our entire, that's half of our entire
Budget.
budget. Okay, chocolates, fruit.
No, don't keep fruits.
Fruit's pretty cool.
No, the problem with fruits is they get rotten, you know?
Yeah,
They-
yeah. We can bring a cooler.
What do you mean you can make it cooler?
We can bring a cooler with us.
Oh my
Like
god.
keep it in the cooler. But yeah, no, you're right. It's probably going to be really difficult to maintain. What else? Biscuits, cookies.
Yeah,
Biscuits and cookies
yeah,
sound
yeah,
good.
that's nice. Cookies.
Fruits, honestly,
can make
fruits
our
is a
own.
bit. Yeah, fruits are a bit lame. I mean,
Yeah.
you're handing out
Lame?
bananas.
Hey, come on, that's pretty cool. It's just
Hey guys, we want you to join the society. Here's a free banana.
that's the power of it. That's so good. Gonna offer
Cheese
you
and
guys some
crackers?
pineapple. Oh, cheese and crackers. That sounds like an old person thing. Like yeah, I don't know. Cheese and crackers.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Yeah.
How are we gonna keep that from melting?
What do you mean melting? The Japanese one. I know a really good place in Town Hall. Uncle
How
Ted's.
much is it? You gonna go to
Well,
town hall and get it for us?
I will go to Town Hall to get it for us. Not a big deal.
Thank you so much.
Desserts are
Yes,
not a
how
bad
much is it,
idea.
okay?
Well,
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
des-
Joseph, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Desserts are not a bad idea. Like you can definitely cut up desserts into bite-sized pieces. They can easily take
I'll
up.
show you. I have one.
Oh, okay.
He has a cheesecake.
Oh no, it's actually a third.
Oh my.
Okay. It's from this place, Uncle Ted's. It's really good.
Hey, that's just KFC.
That's KFC. That's Uncle.
Yeah, I know that place, but Saito, that's expensive. No,
No,
I,
that's
That
not
sounds
expensive.
really
I won't
pricey.
go with that, man. Dude, no.
Okay, look,
This-
a cheesecake will cost you like $10 and you can piece it up in 10 pieces.
But how big is it? Like one cheesecake.
You can give, okay. This is a proper portion for 10 piece. Okay, where's the camera? Ah, where's the camera?
How much is that? $10?
Yeah, something like around that.
That's
No,
$10?
No,
That's $1
No,
per piece, man.
we would spend like $500 on cheesecake.
no.
We're spending $500. That's $1 per piece, a piece. So if you're counting 100 pieces,
They're
that's
going
$2.
to get like this size of pieces of cheesecake.
You're gonna get like tiny chunks.
That's not tiny. That's pretty big, actually. This
Yeah, but that one's $10, right?
that's big enough for my hand, dude.
Yeah, but that's $10.
Nah,
So
that's
one
$1.
person.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait,
the
that's
whole
$1
cake.
or $10? Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, whatever,
Okay,
no
okay,
cheesecake.
I'll explain it
No
to you. The
cheesecake.
whole
No,
cake
no, no.
costs $10,
We're not doing cheesecake.
and that's one piece of the cake. That's you can
Okay,
have
chocolates and cookies.
and
Yeah, that'll do. We can do vegan biscuits or something. Be really lame.
chips.
Chips, yeah, that works. Okay, I'll say that next week, Saturday, we can procure the actual merchandise stuff, Nabia. That should hopefully be enough time for us to go through it. Okay, so that's 2 tasks already for O-week stuff. What other stuff do we need to organize? Newbie sessions. All of the material for newbie sessions is already done. So, you know, we'll take it out once they are organized. I think I'll put a date down in terms of, I'm just going to duplicate these ones. Events. I'm going to turn it into a list. And I'm going to put this one. Oh, this one was in February the 16th. So we would probably do ours on week 1, right? So after O week, just for those who couldn't go to O week and who still want to, you know, learn more about us. So in that case, we can do, say, like the 24th, something like that, on a Wednesday. And that's 2022, not 2021. Whoops. And we'll say 6:30 until 7. Why is it saying March? Yeah, February 24th. Oh, whoops, 23rd. There you go. So that's on the Wednesday. That's in week 1. That is a social thing. Facilitators, who wants to facilitate the first session for digital newbie sessions? So it's basically just a slide deck. Let me actually find it. We already have all of the material that we can reuse. We might need to update a little bit. I think it would be best if we host these ones on Discord rather than on Zoom like we did last time, because in this case, it would be easier for people to just hop in straight away. And then we can encourage them to sign up rather than having like a fancy formal form. And then we can just play a game after we do the general introduction. So it'll be sort of like half games night, half, you know, what's EWB all about. Okay, so that's the video that you can use. That's the presentation deck that you can use. Posted in the events voice channel on Discord. No sign up necessary. Facilitators, I'll say myself for now, and
You can keep me.
I can kick you.
I'll definitely do it.
Seidel, you are the second buddy. So that is February 23rd at 6:30. That's going to be our first session. And then we can do another session.
What day is February 23rd, by the way?
That is on a Wednesday.
That's good.
And I think we've got marketing collateral and stuff like that that we can repurpose. So it's nothing too bad. And we've got a slide deck. Wow, too easy. Okay, that's not completed yet, so I'll leave that there. And then session 2, I'll duplicate this. Who wants to host session 2? So for session 2, we can probably do Thursday.
A day after, maybe.
Yeah, the day after. Like, I think at most 2 might be enough. So we might do this one on like a Friday or something. Like on the 25th. Okay, who wants to do the second? Whoa, you went really loud for a second there.
And I was just saying, why is it from 25th to 26th?
Oops. Notion's being funny. Who wants to do this one? Nabia, Krishna, you guys want to do this one?
Not me. I'm not good at it.
Doesn't matter. Just start talking. And I'm pretty sure we'll all be there anyways. So, because it's going to be a games night. I remember I have actually a website that lets us do multiplayer game stuff. That's really well worth. Games sesh after the Prezzo. Use either what was it called again? Doodle something.
Is that the weird one we used to last?
Yeah, we used it. It was Bluekit. So Bluekit, or this new one that I found once this loads. Price is taking a while to load. Bloob. That's what it was called. Bloob. Yeah, it's got a bunch of multiplayer games or something. There it is. And it was called Bluekit. Yeah, bluekit.com. Oops. Okay, cool. So that's session 1 and session 2. We probably won't need 3 sessions because that's a bit excessive. Okay, so that's our digital movies sessions settled. What else do we need? Meet up with execs from other EWB uni chapters. I can handle that one. So it's basically just reaching out to the different university chapters and asking like, when are you guys available? Ideally, we need to do this one ahead of time because they take ages to respond sometimes. Organize marketing material for digital newbie sessions. And this one is actually going to be a marketing initiative. And we've already got the freaking tick boxes for it. Woo! Okay, I'll do this one. And
oh, we forgot another important task.
Which important task?
Hiring the general committee.
Yeah, we'll push for that as well. We'll have to probably like align that as like it'll be good if we modify the material that we have to sort of say like, oh, and by the way, we're hiring people for the general committee to help out with our events organizing and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm going to set the due date for the marketing material for the newbie nights to I think the 5th. That seems decent. That's part of our O-week push. Digital newbie in progress. Note to self: reuse material in the @ resources. and repurpose CoPresidents for digital movie missions. So that's basically just oh god, basically update exec team. So basically just saying like who the exec team is. You'll have to change around you know, who's actually put on that deck. I think right now it's on Canva. We can probably move this to move template to pitch. So that's this website here, app.com/pitch. So we can more easily work on the deck collaboratively. And then other stuff, update info for exec members, add section specifying that we are hiring for the general committee. And who wants to repurpose the deck? So there's already an existing deck that we can use. It is, where is it? Presentation deck. This is the one.
Let me take a look.
Old deck. Add section specifying that we're hiring for the general committee. So who wants to do this one?
I wonder if Krishna would like to take a look at that too.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it. Yep.
Awesome. I'll add myself as a helper, so you can
Sweet.
basically just ask me for access and stuff like that.
Cool. Cool.
I'll
Thanks.
set the due date for this one to the 5th as well.
Okay.
Digital movie. Cool.
There's also this thing with bank signatories. I think we have to migrate.
I think I filled out the form for it.
Okay.
I'm just waiting on them to get back to me about it. So we'll see. All right, and this is for everyone. Complete pre-rec tasks. Oh, complete, what is it? Transfer tasks. So this is for everyone. So that's me, Krish, Tidal, Nabia. And this one I'm going to say is hopefully by tomorrow. We did actually promise Aaron that we would do the Volaby stuff specifically by end of today. So that's more or less just, you know, internal affairs. And you can refer to required tasks to complete in the following meeting notes at semester 1. There we go, this one. So please make sure that you guys do this one. This was like top of the pile. I'll move this above the OpsWiki stuff.
Also, just something I thought. Can you try organizing a meeting with the school to see if we can have a space for our materials? Currently, the school outreach stuff is still in my room, so you might want to.
Oh, is it still on your?
Yeah.
Okay. Where can we store it though?
Yeah, that's why I
In a
mean.
locker, right?
We
They
don't
don't have
have
lockers
lockers
anymore.
yet. They said they're going to provide us a new space, but they haven't mentioned anything yet.
They
so
said that
far.
like 2 years, haven't they?
Oh no, I mean like this one is. I think it's referring to the student engagement ones, but we can also
Yeah.
like have some space at the school itself, the 44.
Oh, the engineering
Yeah,
building
yeah,
offices.
yeah.
Yeah, we can
I was-
ask.
Yeah, thanks.
Ask Byron if we can store, but no, they're moving out of the old engineering building, aren't they? 44
I
Waterloo.
thought, I thought they were done with the lease. I
Oh,
thought.
okay.
Yeah,
But
they're moving out of the building and they're probably going to shift stuff elsewhere. I don't know where.
yeah, maybe ask them
Wonder how
anyway
they're
so
gonna-
that they can
How are they
dedicate
going
a
to do
space for us.
engineering?
Yeah, I'm not
I'm really
sure.
curious what
It's
it's going to
weird.
look like because they don't have an engineering faculty or building anymore. Like, what happens?
They don't even have one. Yeah, used to just
Okay.
finish their building.
Christ. Okay, ask Byron where we can store
If we can
Ask
have a
Byron
dedicated
to
space for our
store
stuff.
materials. Because we still have the banner and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, everything essentially. But you know
Store-
how like Speed has their own space.
Yeah, but it's in 44 Waterloo, so I'd imagine they're probably going to ask them to move it out, and then I don't know where they're going to move it.
Yeah, but if you put this in their mind right now, then they can have something dedicated for us.
Request a storage space for materials we need to keep. Banner is at student engagement.
Oh, the
school
banner is
average.
with me.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So everything's
Banner.
actually in my house.
Okay, thank you, Joseph, for being a storage space.
To arrange yeah, when we'll bring it all there.
And school average are all at okay. I'll do that, and Joseph will add you as a sub person. Let's just say what, like end of this week.
Yeah, arrange the meeting
wanna get
first,
out of the
then
way.
we can have a meeting with Byron.
Yeah, he'll probably want a meeting. So end of this week. We'll do that as internal affairs. And we'll do that over here. Below transfer tasks, of course. And what else do we need? Organize a meetup. That'll be probably you and me, Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph, are you now part of the general committee?
I guess, yeah.
Technically,
sure.
I mean, alumni.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Organize
Have you back.
Okay.
meetup with uni EWB. This will basically just be asking them, and I think that's probably going to be end of this month or something, because I think we'll have time to sort it out, because we still need to know whether or not the restrictions are going to be lifted.
Yeah, we'll probably start talking to them this week.
This week? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll say 15th.
Yeah.
And I'll say that's
This is also internal affairs, really.
yeah. It's just
Matter-
community building, right?
Yeah, matter of acquainting
Um,
our new staff.
Organize a meetup at U-Bar. It's got to be U-Bar, right?
Could be anywhere.
I feel like it like has to be a Macquarie
Okay.
for us to just say like,
But
this
does
is
it
us
have
at
to be
Macquarie, so that
Macquarie?
they return. No, but they have to return the favor and then invite us to their unit. In idealistic terms, it didn't happen last time. We only got like UTS and
Just UTS.
WSU. Just
Oh, is
UTS.
That's
What's
UDS.
this? Yeah, because
We tried WSU.
Daniel was lost. He
He
didn't get to find-
got to the uni, but he never reached us.
Yeah.
he went to the wrong building. Yeah, we're close with UTS, and I think we'll probably get like easy. It'll be easy to organize another meetup with them. Organize a meetup or multiple meetups, I guess. It would be best if we did like a big meetup with all the unis.
Yep.
Rather than separate ones.
Definitely.
Organize a meetup at U-Bar.
Frankly speaking, that's
With-
unrealistic.
No, I think it's realistic. It happened last time. It can happen again.
What last time?
Design corner.
Well, you weren't there, were you,
But
Seidel?
Design Corner was something different. Like
No. This was before your time, I think, Seidel.
the one you met up with UTS only.
Yeah, but in this case, we're going to try and make it a little bit bigger and add in UNSW.
That's what I'm saying. That sounds unrealistic, but we can try.
We have fairly good contacts with them on Messenger. So it's mostly just the folks that we were talking to last year, and we've just reached out to them again.
Yeah, we'll just have to make sure it like aligns with their schedules as well. It's
Yes,
not too
yeah,
bad.
we'll have to ask like when everyone is free.
Sorry, guys.
Consider doing a big meetup with all unis or several with.
Maybe also we can try and oh wait, nah, that would ruin the mood too much, right? If we invited the new regional execs.
Oh, I mean, that would be pretty good. I'm part of the regional exec, so you technically would have invited part of the New South Wales region,
Yeah,
a really small slither of it.
I mean, make them closer to us, like especially
Okay.
the new president,
If
right?
we want to invite, yeah, if we want to invite the new South Wales region execs, though, we have to wait until there is an actual president.
Oh,
There
there's
still
still
isn't one.
none. Holy
No.
moly,
We're still waiting.
that's sad.
So let's say 22nd, 15th. Well, it'll be an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Consider also inviting the New South Wales region team. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
O week. Oh, material for the O week stalls as well. Create marketing material for O week. Push. So this one, Nabia, you can help me with this one. Well, actually, yeah, Nabia, you can help me with this one. You have past marketing experience as our previous marketing director. I think this one's going to be like fairly late on. We could do like what, 29th, something like that. Oh, actually 5th of February. Yeah, and that's going to be O week. And that is a marketing initiative. Nice. And one last one, another marketing thing. This one's going to have to be for the general committee. I think we already had some. We don't. Okay. Create marketing material for general committee recruitment drive. I forgot a T. And Nabila, we're going to do both of those as well. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, like, if we're going to be working on marketing material, we'll probably just get it all out of the way. O week, general committee. Nice. And hopefully it'll be easier for us to do this marketing stuff once we expand our general committee anyways. So note, update the page to include recent job descriptions. Okay, I think that's now all of them. Does anyone not have a task? I think Seidel, you've got the transfer tasks, and I think you might be able to do the food stuff together with
2 hours now.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make this run too long.
Right.
I mean, it is a planning meeting, so normally these take ages. Seidel, I'm going to add you to the food and drinks procurement for O week, because you can drive, right? Who has a driver's license?
I'm trying to get one, but
I do. I have a driver's license.
Okay, I'm going to add you to the food and drink stuff as well. That's just going to be 3 people, because there's going to be a lot of it to pick up.
Sure. Easy. I've got my own car as well, so no worries at all.
Too good. Yes, it's always good to have like at least one driver in the team. Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Please let me know if you need any help with your tasks. our secretary will be pushing you to complete your tasks. Please, yeah, thank you very much for listening. And if you got to the end of this recording, God rest your soul.
All right, guys.